Why do you have all the Reese's? I want some.
All right, fine, take some. What's going on, guys?
I don't need all of them.
Damn! What's going on, guys? Welcome to the inaugural episode of What Are You Scared of Something? Sam Chernikoff is my name. My partner in crime, friend since second grade, right? Something like that.
I always say first, but you always say second grade.
We don't remember. We were young. We were young.
That is true.
But we are going to be bringing you our takes on horror film. Might dive into some books. I listen to horror podcasts. Brendan definitely helped my growing into the
Indeed I did.
the horror world. But
Indeed.
I've been
an expert since I was
he's been horrified.
like elementary school, 100%.
Yeah. So we're gonna be bringing you episodes, and we're gonna be talking about different movies, themes, and things like that. So I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. We got some Reese's here.
Can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong.
You also get them on Halloween, so it only makes sense.
Halloween.
Yeah, well, it's a horror podcast. We get Halloween candy, you know?
This is Valentine's Day.
It's Valentine's
You don't know
Day.
it's holidays. It's a heart, and they flip like a tech deck. Oh, all right. So, Brendan here, give us your initial horror beginnings into the world of horror. Did you wake up in the hospital and you said
Came right out the
boo?
womb.
You said boo to the doctors, and they were
Right
like,
out the womb.
this guy's gonna be a horror genius.
No, so like literally, when I was like in first grade, I had an obsession with jack-o'-lanterns during Halloween time. Okay, for some reason I loved them.
I'm watching Power Rangers. This guy.
I thought they were great. I even had like a jack-o'-lantern shirt. Also, my birthday is October 24th, so it's kind of near Halloween.
It's close.
So yeah, I just remember I was always obsessed with jack-o'-lanterns, right?
Yeah.
So then that obsession moved into literally like our teacher would always bring us to the library and we'd take out books. You remember that?
Was that the?
Like
Well, I remember that, but remember, I bet a lot of people on social media, the Scholastic thing.
Yeah,
What was that?
yeah,
that was
yeah.
so fun.
That was fun too.
I don't think I ever had any money for them, but
Yeah.
what were you buying? Or were you no in the library? What were you
I
looking
remember,
at?
I remember the Scholastic thing. I bought a monster truck instead of a gift for my mom. I showed up with a monster truck and she's like, you got me.
That's the last time that he didn't get a gift for his mom.
But in the library, right? Like everybody would be taking out like these books, like the Magic Tree House,
Green eggs and ham.
Green Eggs and
normal
Ham and
things.
stuff. And literally, I'd go to this one section that had like UFO sightings, ghost sightings, werewolves. Are werewolves real? They're all about vampires. And I swear to you, the librarian there like probably was looking at me like, this kid's gonna be weird when he grows up. He's
Somebody
a freak.
check on this guy. I mean, not to be no offense, but that's how some of these people that grow up to be not good people. That's where they start
Well,
out,
they-
is
yeah,
checking out horror books.
or they're either killing animals or something. You know?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's good. Well, he's here now, and he didn't turn out to be
Not too bad.
that
not too
weirdo.
bad.
So what else? So then that blossomed into. You didn't stop from there. He continued for sure.
So
He decides to eat the Reese's.
another thing I used to do is I would always go to like the Sci-Fi channel when I was young. Again, maybe elementary school. And my mom never let me watch like rated R movies when I was growing up or anything.
Fair.
So so I'd always go to the Sci-Fi channel like secretly, and then there'd always be like some sort of horror movie or like, you know, like alien type movie with like a lot of violence and crazy
Yeah.
shit going on. And it would scare the shit out of me, right? I wouldn't be able to sleep. I'd be calling my mom like in the middle of the night, and she'd be like,
What'd
"Why-
I tell ya?"
Why can't you sleep?" And I would lie because I didn't want her to know I was secretly watching Sci-Fi
Right, because you still
Channel.
wanted to.
And then, but I was so intrigued how it made me feel. Like I was just like, oh my god, like how can a movie or you know a show or something like that just do that to me? So,
Well, I know. Well, yeah. Sorry, but I know that. Like if you do a quick Google search, I mean, it's hard to know what's true or not. But apparently, watching horror movies can just like it's like technically good for you because
Yeah.
like it can make you like. I don't know, you're sweating and all that stuff, and your mind's looking at them, you're thinking of themes and all this stuff. There's a lot going on.
well, yeah, I mean, me being the hypochondriac that I am, once you calm down from a horror movie, your endorphins get released, which gives you a calming effect. And maybe that's
Thank
why
God.
I like them, you know?
Probably.
I remember we were in the haunted house of Bayville, and you were like, I kind of feel like a little bit, like, once we got out, you were like, you looked at me and you went, I feel kind of calm right now. And I was like, oh, it might be your endorphins. I don't know.
I think I remember that, yeah. Because, of course, they wanted me to go first, and I did. And they were pushing me through. And, yeah, Bayville is a little more commercialized, but you guys will probably want to go to something scarier for sure. And you probably, I mean, you have. But anyway, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I've been to, like, Dorney Park. Dorney Park's pretty good.
Dorney Park?
For Halloween. That's in Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. Is that the one with the guy in the old guy in the glasses?
No, that's Six Flags. That's Six
Oh,
Flags.
yeah.
Dorney Park has, like, Snoopy.
Dorney Park! Were there commercials like that?
I don't know.
I don't know. Whatever. So you were, what were you doing?
You
were slapping people. So your mom's like, what's going on? You're like, I love how it makes me feel. No, you weren't telling her.
I guess, and then, like, I don't know, I remember I would, like, buy, like, these books from, like, the Scholastic shit we were just talking about, and, like, I still have a book, maybe I'll bring it in one day. It says Encyclopedia Horrifica. And it's just, like, this skull on the front. And maybe even my mom got it for me, because I told her I wanted it so bad, but...
That's an open-minded mother, though. That's pretty good.
Yeah. And then, yeah, I just kept, like, watching movies, and,
what do you think, what was one of the... I'm sure you saw some when you were little, maybe when you were watching the Sci-Fi Channel, but what was one maybe that you saw that you were... Because we grew up in... Like, we've evolved in certain eras. Like, when we were kids, it was up until... I don't know, recent. It's been jump scares, paranormal activity. Like, I think it went from when we grew up was jump scares, then more found footage, paranormal activity, Conjuring, Insidious, Sinister.
Yeah.
Those were leading up to the ones we have today, Hereditary, Midsummer, those types where they're more psychological. Well, is there one that you think you were like, that you just remember loving, and you were like, I know I'm on the right path? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're like...
To success.
To horror success. No, where you're like, I'm not stopping. Like, I will watch these till I die.
I mean, I don't remember the first exact one where I was like, oh my god. I feel like, honestly, like, there was this one movie, I forget the name of it, but they're in the desert or something, and there's, like, these, like, radioactive people living underneath, and it was so gory and stuff, and, like
My Home Videos.
OnlyFans. I forget what it's called. Crap. It's like a pretty popular one. It's very, very gory, and it's like so crazy, and they just chop people in half and shit. But I remember that one was on the Sci-Fi Channel, and like after I saw that one, I was like, "Yo, this shit's crazy.
This is fun.
This is some crazy stuff."
Leave a comment in the comment section if you know what movie he's talking about. Cause I don't know
what the hell is it? Oh, maybe is it The Hills Have Eyes? It might be
could
that.
be.
It might be that.
Yeah.
But then of course, like the one that like solidified it was Hereditary. Like that in theaters, I just
we'll get into that.
I never expected to feel the way I did that day. That was crazy.
So you started young, and you just you kept watching them, and then when do you think you started? Would you say Hereditary, or you probably other movies where you started to like actually analyze some of these films? Because people will just watch scary movies. Some people watch them just to get it over with because someone's making them watch it. Other people, like us, him earlier in life, started to analyze it. Would you say that would be Hereditary, or you think?
Yeah, probably. I feel like like college-y, and then till now, like first year in college, like I started like seeing, and then especially because of you, because like Sam knows everything about movies and movies and movies and movies. So like you were showing me like real good ones, and like I up until then I had only been really watching like horror was always my favorite, so I just put those on because they were just fun. They were just something fun to watch, you know, and they were easy. But then you started showing me like critically acclaimed films, and then I was like, oh shit, like there's like deeper meanings behind certain things, you know, there's metaphors, symbolism, and all these crazy, you know, all these things that show up in movies.
Yeah, because in jump scares, it's like all right, this house is haunted.
Yeah, we know
Things
what's gonna
jump
happen.
out, and
Yeah.
then like it's the end. Well, Brendan is definitely a and I could say I'm that too. We usually, if we know, say like we're not. This is controversial. I liked the Marvel, but after Endgame, I'm like I'm done. And he made a good point where he's like, good wins, evil loses.
Mhm.
The movies we watch, it's like, damn, no one wins.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, there's somewhere it's just it's crazy, and sometimes that's the reality of life, and I feel like sometimes in the more positive films that's not always what happens. So
right.
being more realistic might be the better option, or in my opinion, the better option. I kind of like to see that in a film a lot more.
Absolutely. Historically accurate, if you will.
Yeah, that too. 100%.
So yeah, let's show the shirts we have on. So Brendan's got X, which I haven't seen and I need to see.
Oh yeah, you haven't seen
I haven't
this yet?
seen it, and his is A24. I went up.
A24X.
This is classic Ghostface. I always think of Ghostface, baby.
Ghostface.
This always
Ghostman.
reminds me of Scary Movie. So
Oh yeah.
should I go into my origins?
Oh yeah,
I guess.
yeah. So Sam's pretty new to all this.
A little
I
bit.
mean,
I would say I'm new.
relatively. He's like he's not a virgin anymore, but he's in there.
Dip the toe in. Dip the big toe in. It was funny because before filming this, I was thinking like, where did I start, like actually watching horror films? And I can remember I was in, it was like Connor Brabant's house,
Really?
and we were watching. They put on, not to my, I didn't want it on. I didn't get a vote, of course. It was called Something of the Fourth Kind. And it was like an alien film.
Okay.
And I remember like, because when you're in high school, of course you like try to like fit in. But like I was in the back and everybody's watching the movie and I'm like, and they'd be like, oh shit. I'd be like, oh man, you fucking see that? That was crazy. Meanwhile, I'm not watching it because I'm so scared. And it was so weird. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Then when I was in college, I feel like, and you were saying college too, you were exploring more. I'm sure I watched some sort of scary movies. Honestly, you know what? I really don't think I did. I don't think I did. And college,
you really didn't like them.
I hated
because
them.
I don't know when this was, but I remember being in our friend Chris's basement, and we watched Chernobyl Diaries.
Chernobyl Diaries, yeah, with Jesse McCartney.
With Jesse McCartney.
He was in it. Yeah, do you remember that?
I
Yeah.
don't even remember that he was in that. But I feel like we would always pressure you to just be like, come on, and then like, I think you turned the other way completely.
I don't think
the whole movie was on, and you just were facing us in the movies.
I refused. Yeah, because they would be like, "Well, this is what's happening. We're watching this film," and I'm like, "Mom, I'm not gonna watch it," because I was just so afraid of it. And now I would watch that and be like,
yeah, because that one's just I only watched that one once.
I don't even remember it, but they would also do shit like, like. I don't even know. I probably wouldn't participate, or I'd be like very against it. Where you guys would be like, turn off the lights and take your phone and be like, "Who's here? Like, show us a sign."
We try to call out the ghosts.
Oh man, yeah. But then in college, you said college too. College is very experimental. It's so funny that you were saying you pressure me into watching it. Normal high school peer pressure is like, drink, do the drugs. They're like, watch Jesse McCartney Chernobyl Diaries with us. I was a film minor in college. That was one of the best things ever. And there was one film class called Horror and Gender. So it was like, in class we talked about like the final girl aspect, which is the slasher films in the 70s. There's always a final girl. Mm-hmm. And there was a lot of like, we talked about like Freud and stuff with like sex. And like,
yeah, a lot of sexual undertones, especially with slashers, I feel like.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's, like, that allure of, I don't know what, like...
Power,
and then, like, you know how, like, people, like, fall in love with, like, serial killers and shit? Like,
yeah.
I feel like that's, like, a whole thing.
Ted Bundy, or the guy, what was his name? Richard Rivera's?
Sorry. The Night Stalker?
The Night Stalker, yeah. Girls would, like, show up to the trial.
Oh, yeah.
Like, can I have your autograph?
Dahmer, too. Dahmer was getting mail. Like in money sent to him, like hundreds of dollars, like in the mail at jail, and of course all the other inmates were getting jealous and shit.
What? Jealous inmates. All I did was rob a bank. You ate people, you son of a bitch.
Shit.
Give me money. And yeah, so we also talked about like there was this movie. The shout out Dr. Ramsey, best professor ever. We would talk about like there was this cat movie, and it was so funny. It was like we're watching it. It was from like the 40s. Maybe it was Cat People or something. And it was just about like this girl like turning into cat. I barely remember it. And at the end, my
It's
professor
supposed to be scary. Like an early horror
kind
of feel.
Yeah. It had more of like a gender. And then my like professor turns on the lights. He's like, "So that movie was all about sex," and we were all like, "Huh?"
Oh my
And then he
God.
just talks about it. We're like, "Oh shit, you're right."
Huh.
And I like had no idea how. There's like I said, there's a lot of Freud that we talked about, and Freud takes on
Called
a lot.
Cats.
I guess cats, maybe cat
Cats
people.
on Broadway.
That bomb.
Did it on Broadway?
I don't know about Broadway, but like
The movie.
the one with Jason Derulo. I
Oh,
think.
oh shit. He was
Yeah,
in
that
it?
got like a 1 on Rotten Tomatoes.
I'm sure.
I
I don't even know how it stays on Broadway. I mean, I hear it's great, but
I don't even know what it's about. But
apparently
so,
sex.
apparently. So we watched that. Then we watched, and there were movies like we'd either watch in class or watch on our own, and some of them I would skip through because I didn't like them. And then I don't know what happened. I think it might have been Rosemary's Baby, where you still have to see that.
Mhm.
Where I was like, this is pretty good. And it wasn't that scary. And I'm sure there were some parts where I was like, but it was just really good. And there was a lot of things that like it was like if you don't know, she has like essentially like her husband works with like, they get her husband to like essentially, I think like rape her, but like, or like drug her, or somebody creates a baby with her from a cult and they raise it as like a demon baby. Now I remember being like, this is so interesting and this is so different from any movie like I've ever seen. And I was like, man, maybe this is like not bad. So then I started to get into it. We watched American Psycho is really good, which is, I would say it's horror, but it's like that psychological thing happening to it because like you don't even know if any of the movie happened. We watched slasher films like Black Christmas, and those are like
We did at
the same time. Did we watch Psycho? I might have watched Psycho by my own, but I remember my grandma saying they were in Lake George and they watched Psycho in 1960, and they were going in for the second screening, and the first screening people were running out screaming.
Really?
And then I saw Psycho, and I turned to my dad, and I'm like laughing. It's a great movie. I'm like, this isn't scary, and he was like, in 1960, it was horrifying.
That's like, I think the one that completely turned people upside down was
yeah.
The Exorcist, probably.
Oh, that
You know,
too.
like, I mean, that, I'm sure, I've actually never seen that, but The Exorcist,
refuse.
I can't even imagine, what people thought in that in theaters. Holy shit.
It probably definitely messed people up.
Mhm.
The Exorcist for sure, that was 73, I think.
Yeah.
That I think people still rate it. I still see ratings as like the scariest
It
movie
holds
ever,
up.
which
it
is
holds up.
insane from 73.
As I
So
watched it by myself a couple months ago.
Yeah,
in
normal.
my room in a dark room.
in a dark room. But the one I think that did it for me was The Witch, and it's still my favorite A24 movie.
Where did we see that?
I watched it in class.
Oh, okay.
And
And then we rewatched it. I think in Rhode Island when we were living there. I think we did during the
probably
day one day. We just were like, of course.
Yeah.
We
We
tend
did
to
it
do
with
this.
Schindler's List. Remember that? We were like,
Oh God.
he texted our buddy Anthony Cardillo, and he's like, I think he was like, "What are you doing?" And you were like, "Yeah, watching Schindler's List." He's like, "You're watching Schindler's List in
At
the middle of the
4
day."
o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, on like a Tuesday. Probably best movie ever.
Such
But
a good movie.
The Witch was just so good. A lot of themes and like just the ending is spoiler alert, but she just goes up and you're like,
so cool.
none of
It's
this
so crazy.
it's so crazy and so good. I'm like, none of this was good for the family at all.
Yeah.
They'll die pretty much.
crazy.
And I was like, this is pretty good. And I think am I missing a movie? I don't know, but I was like,
Well, Hereditary too.
well, okay, so I had that class, and that was,
That's cool. You watched that. Damn, I wish I could take that.
Oh, that was
I wish
great.
there was a class like that. I'd get like an A+++.
Oh, you certainly would. Yeah. I'm trying to think of any movies else that we definitely watched. Oh, The Shining, which I think
man,
is probably the
great.
best, the scariest, not the scary. I would say the best horror movie of all time. Just because there's so many theories and themes to that movie. Yeah, that movie's there's just so good. Like the hotel is like the antagonist. And that's like it's the theme of like maybe you shouldn't lock yourself away in a cold place in the middle of nowhere. The Shining was great. So I was like,
I saw the hotel when I visited my cousins in Colorado.
he's got cousins everywhere. He's got family everywhere.
From afar, like we didn't have time to go in, but like I saw it and I was like, oh shit, that's sick.
That's so weird you just said that because tonight at dinner, my dad named like some kicker. I was like, oh, he doesn't have the record anymore for the longest kick. It's the guy Matt Prater because of the altitude. Do you know when Brendan went to Colorado? He drank 2 beers in the altitude. That's so weird. So
that's funny.
Give a tip to them if they go to Colorado. What happens? They gotta drink?
Oh, I mean, my cousins told me that like obviously since we're closer to sea level, we're here in New York. We can drink a bunch of beers, obviously. So, but then when you go up in altitude, you get drunk way faster.
Wait,
I'm pretty sure I felt it too. I don't think it's a hoax.
Not a placebo.
I've heard people that say it's a hoax, but I don't think it's a hoax because I was slammed.
Take it easy. Whoa, just take it easy, man. You gotta say something. I'm chilling.
Oh, I want to start chewing.
All right.
I want one of these. I've been here
Yeah,
all
good.
day. I've been here
The whole
all
bag.
day.
All right, let me get a swig of ice water. Ow! So then,
All right,
One
so
day.
The Witch.
no, so The Witch was great.
Great.
Loved it. That
Love
was
it.
2015.
20,000.
So, one day, I remember we were at Chris's. You saw it already. And you were like, this was probably the most peer pressure pleading from you for me to do anything ever. You remember you were in the car? I think he offered me money to watch Hereditary.
Oh, okay.
So,
Because I knew, like, we're going to go back a little bit. Up until that point, right, we were saying before there was only, like, jump scares and, like, Insidious and Sinister, like, that whole era, which we're starting to get more quality horror.
yeah, there's a
which
few
is
jump
good.
scares. Like, Conjuring's good. And it's insane that I never, like, because I remember my younger sister and my dad went, and my sister was probably like 12 when that came out, and I'm like, damn, she can see that.
Yeah.
I used to feel that way about roller coasters. I'm like, fucking 4-year-olds going on there, and I'm just like,
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
I don't want to get
I can go on some roller coasters, not like all of them. I have been on King to Cod, though.
Yeah,
surprisingly.
never.
But anyway, so up until that point, like, I always knew, like, because Sam always loved film, so I knew he would appreciate, like, a really good quality movie. So when I saw Hereditary for the first time, it blew me away, and I knew that this was, like, a quality, like, really unbelievably good horror movie, and, psychological horror. So that's why I was pleading so hard with Sam, because, like, I was like, but dude, the acting on top of the horror with, like, everything around it, like, it is the most crazy thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it, because horror up until that point was decent, but not up to that part.
Jump scares. And I remember you were in the car with, it might have been Bailey or Chris, and I was outside of the car. And I was like, there was an inkling of me where I was like, maybe I'll go, just because, like, sometimes you want to go out of your comfort zone. And you were like, you have to come, it's so good. I think you were like, I'll pay for your ticket, I'll give you $20. I don't know if it was that far. But you were like, you have to see it. And I was like, and I refused. So I didn't see it. Then we ended up living together in Newport, where I went to school, and we lived there for the summer. And we did this thing with our other roommate, Brian, called Movie Mondays. And I knew it before. Each Monday we would select a movie. So I think I might have picked The Social Network or something. Our friend Brian, I forget what he picked. It was like Hamlet or something.
Yeah.
And Brendan's like, well, we're watching Hereditary. And I'm like, fuck. And I was like, you're just going to have to do it. So you were sitting here, Brian was sitting there, and I was sitting in the back. And we watched it. And I was like, wow, I never felt this way. It is just, I don't know what it was. But Brendan, you're going to have to tell them what happened the next day.
So, when we were living in Newport, Rhode Island, I was working at the Newport Country Club, so I was being a caddy for a little bit. Shout out Green Bibs. And so I needed to get a laser so I can see where the flag is or how far the flag is. If you don't know,
Get the yardage.
the yardage to the flag, and the closest store was like 45 minutes away.
Yeah, it was
right?
far. I think it was in like Warwick or something like that.
Yeah,
From us, because Newport is an island
very
and it's like
isolated.
very isolated.
So as we're on the way there, now Sam is definitely like more of an energetic type of personality. I'm like a little bit more mellow, and so usually on car trips we have long talks. We talk about a lot of things, and I've never seen Sam this quiet in my entire life. Okay, I could have sworn he like. I don't know what, you took like 5 sleeping pills or something, and he's just staring out the window, not saying a word. And every like 15 minutes or so, he would just look at me and go, "So I just don't understand. Like, so the mom did this and that and this," and then I'm just like explaining it to him because I had watched it like so many times already because I was obsessed with it. It was the craziest thing. I've never seen someone's reaction like that. It was great. I mean, mine was crazy when I came out of the theater. When first time I saw it, I was with my friend, our friend Chris and Bailey, and we didn't speak for like the first 15 minutes walking from the theater to like the car, and then we were just like, wow, like that was pretty heavy.
You feel like used and like
you feel like you went through it with the family.
You feel icky.
Yeah,
and that was Ari Aster's debut film, I believe, which is insane because it was just like that's like if you come out with your first song ever is like 1,000 miles.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I just went from here to here. And, well, luckily Ari Aster. Second film was Midsummer, which is almost as good, I think.
Yeah.
If not better.
Or like Stairway to Heaven. You come out of the books.
Yeah, you come out of the... You just like...
You write Stairway to Heaven and you're on top.
So, guys, how are we going to top that one? But you were also fucking... He was playing the Hereditary soundtrack. And it's not a soundtrack where it's just like... beat it. It's not Michael Jackson. It's like, dong, dong, and I'm just sitting there like this, and I'm just thinking the mom crawling on the fucking walls.
My God. And then like towards the end too, they have like kind of like uplifting music, but it doesn't fit the setting. It's kind of like the flutes and stuff, and it sounds like magical and like something great has happened, but deep down this is terrible. This is not supposed to happen.
And I love the shot of Alex Wood. Is that his name? The Naked Brothers Band guy?
I'll take your word on it. I'm terrible with names, you know that.
But the guy from the Naked Brothers Band, incredible. He was so good. The end of what Brandon's talking about is the music, and he's just with the crown on his head. It's just like, oh man.
Crazy.
Hereditary's great. Yeah, so I was in so then I saw Hereditary. I was messed up by it. And as messed up as I was pretty okay after that. Like, I don't know if it was a fear where I was like, I'm never going to sleep. Like, maybe I was. I don't know what it is. After the movie, I'm fine. Oh, I won't go that far. But, like, if we watch a movie together, I'm like, put on American Dad, put on Family Guy, put on The Hangover, put on something, like, immediately after. Like, after we watched Men, I was like, get this shit off. Put on something else.
Men at your house?
Yeah. And I immediately was like, Family Guy.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
If you guys haven't seen it,
Whenever I watch a movie with Cardillo,
he's the best.
our friend Anthony, we put on this Netflix show, Bread Barbershop. Did I ever tell you that?
Did. That's weird.
It's like this children's show. It's so stupid, but it's a funny backstory.
Did you show me that Japanese show where the kid has to get the groceries?
No, someone. I think we watched that at Margaret's place, or
we watched that at Margaret's place in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
I think her or Bailey put it, or did you?
Or maybe Gab put it on.
I don't know. Somebody put it on. That's funny. Anyway, so we watched Hereditary. I loved it. And then we just went off to the races. We watched Midsummer in our friend Bailey's basement. And Brendan and I really wanted to watch it. I'm sure they did too. But they were just being...
They didn't stop talking.
Not shout out to you idiots. Didn't stop talking. And like, I think at some points I was like kind of just like joining in on their talking. Because I'm like, no one's taking this seriously. And we might have watched it again together, or maybe like separately or something like that. And then I think I just started. I think I was like on an A24 binge, we watched like The Killing of the Sacred Deer, which is probably the craziest movie ever. And then we started going to horror movies together. We saw Green Knight.
Yes.
Would you say that's horror?
There's some like aspects to it. It's more of like mythical, like mythological, and like a quest. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
there are some parts.
It's a journey film. It's like
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, where you start and then you end like at the Eye of Sauron. Whatever the hell
there are some parts that are kind of like creepy undertones, you know.
But we also saw Lamb together.
You know what was a good one was Gretel and Hansel. That was pretty good.
Yeah,
that was the cinematography in that one was really beautiful.
Really
Remember that like the house was dark, but then there would be orange skies outside. There's like sunsets and stuff. The only thing though is we saw that on like opening night.
Yeah, and there was
so
like
everyone
kids in the back, and you called it too. You were like, "This is opening day, so like this might not be as good."
Yeah. But that was pretty good, and
that
especially
was good.
being rated PG-13, that was a pretty good one.
Because it's such an old tale, Hansel and Gretel, and they switched it.
Yeah.
That was good. It was creepy, and that was just a solid one. There are some that are like just solid. I was like, that's good, and then like Hereditary, Midsummer, The Witch are like those are top tier, and then others are like not as good. And he's seen a lot more, but like then we were just off to the races. Like after you showed me Hereditary, I'm trying to think. We saw Lamb. Crap, I was just about to say something else. We watched Killing of the Sacred Deer. Oh, and then we watched the As Above, So Below.
That's a good one.
Really good.
I like that one.
And it's funny because we watched that at... Were you there at Michelle Cesarino's cabin in Pennsylvania?
Oh, no, I wasn't.
He wasn't there. They had that
She
on.
never invited me to any of the things. I don't know why.
Oh!
It's so funny. Now I see her everywhere in public. It's so random. But
Yeah,
whatever.
she's great. Her and Nick, shout out. Nick's, his house is the one on with the Christmas lights.
Oh, yeah.
Her fiance. And of course they all watched that, and I was upstairs like playing beer pong or something like that. I'm like, I ain't watching that shit. And then we watched it, and then we were like, of course, we're talking about themes and stuff like that.
That was
that's what
As
we
Above,
do.
So Below.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
okay.
was really good. And then we watched The Ritual, which was really good. We just watched Rental.
Yeah. That's a Netflix one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
So yeah, we just like watched like a bunch. Then after Hereditary, it's so funny because I was so scared, or at least I thought I was scared. I watched Hereditary, and then I was just off to the races. So now I listen to Dr. No Sleep, which is a creepy podcast. I'm a Patreon member, so I would definitely suggest that. I watch Nexpo, Nuke's Top 5. Nuke's Top 5 is basically just like top 10 horror moments caught on camera, and he just does that each video. I love being scared.
Is that the guy with the voice? Number 10.
No, that's not him. No, he's the one where it's like, what does he say? He's like, then something happened that you would like never believe or something like that.
Yeah.
And then
he's kind of whispery, right?
a little bit,
Like,
maybe
not super whispery, not like he's like, hello, everybody. Not ASMR or anything.
No.
But
We'll backtrack a little. Before I started doing Dr. No Sleep, I watched a Nexpo and like Nuke's Top 5. You showed me Llama Art.
Llama
That
Art's
was
the best.
I think that, and you might have shown me that before Hereditary, or maybe after. I don't know, but you showed me that. If you guys don't know what Llama Art is, it's basically scary stories on YouTube. They're like 5 minutes or so. Some are longer. That are animated. Whew! The first one you ever showed me was either the guy in 7-Eleven or the Smiling Man one, and that one was so scary.
I feel like that's a good buffer for anyone who's new to horror, because like the animations are a little bit lighter. You know, it's not like a you know, you're seeing real people. You know,
Right.
So but the narration with it is fantastic. So especially if you're new to horror, that's like a great way to like hear creepy stories and then you know you get to kind of feel how the person would feel through the animation, which is fantastic.
You could literally spend a day watching Llama Art because there's just
they have
like
the compilations and everything.
they made them for like I think since like 2017.
Damn. And then there's other channels that are just like that too, that you know
There's
will
Nightmare.
pop up in the recommended, and those are great. So you know,
And then
you'll
you're
find
off
some
to the
great ones
races.
there. Yeah.
Did you say Mr. Nightmare?
So many races. Mr. Creepypasta, of course. He's got great narration.
The one we watched, that's still I think the
The
scariest
gas
one today.
station where they could pull up to the yeah. I feel like someone else narrated it. I mean, animated it for him, but that both of them go hand in hand. 'Cause I'd never seen animation with his stuff because I heard of Mr. Creepypasta like when I was younger. And then did we watch the one where it was like
The guy takes out his eye.
yeah.
That was a Newport.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That was. I remember.
That's crazy.
He pulls out his laptop. He's like, "You gotta listen to this." I think you showed Cardillo too, and I was just like, So yeah, Mr. Creepypasta, and then there's like that's like thing like creepypastas or something I think like on Reddit. And then like get these out of here. The one we're talking about. If you want to see it, type in like Mr. Creepypasta animated, and it's like I think some people in like Arizona. Holy God, his narration is so scary because he's just like he's very animated. He's like, it's just oh my God.
So
I remember we looking at each other like, holy
I was
shit.
so creeped out by that one.
And what else is good is crap. Wait, what is that? I hope you.
Right?
You
Is
remember
that Family Guy?
Yeah, you remember the name of the town, don't you? Crap.
Shawshank Redemption.
That's great. What was I about to say? BuzzFeed Unsolved.
Yes.
So you showed me that.
Those are great.
So
what are those guys' names?
Shane and Ryan. Shane and Ryan. If you guys haven't seen BuzzFeed Unsolved, it's really cool. They do true crime and then they also do supernatural. The first one you showed me was I think it was a Solder family with the fire in the house.
Yeah.
And then you showed me like the Goat Man and all that stuff.
Oh, the Goat Man, yeah.
And then of course I go and see like every BuzzFeed Unsolved. These are just like YouTube things that are really good.
Perhaps Sam and I might take an adventure one day. You never know. Maybe in the future. We'll see.
Boy, yeah. It's definitely possible. But yeah. I don't know about that. Crap, I was gonna think of something else. Keep talking.
Or at least a ghost tour or something.
Yeah, ghost tour.
Yeah, ghost tour.
Yeah, ghost tour.
Yeah, ghost tour. Yep, ghost tour. Who's looking for the ghost tour? You looking for a ghost tour? Yep, right here.
Ghost tour. Get your ghost tour here.
Get your ghost
Ah,
tour.
crap.
Yeah, spill a little bit yourself.
So now I even write some short stories of my own that are horror. So like, it's just been off the races. Like this is just
so many races.
So many races. This is most of my life. I dropped one of these. Oh, blowing you. Yeah, I'm blowing you. Yeah, I'm blowing you. Who drew that? You?
Oh god. Yeah, kill me on set. Speaking of ghost tours, you believe in ghosts, my friend?
You know, it's weird because like, so then we also watch Haunted, that show.
Oh yeah, Netflix.
And
Haunted.
like, I think it was that show where it was either that. I think it was that, and I remember looking at you and being like, "All right, well, what is that?
Yeah.
Like, how do you explain that?"
Yeah.
So Ghost, I don't know because it's like I'm definitely I think this is more true. Where it was like when I was showing it the Blink-182 guy, Tom DeLonge, who's into UFOs. He was saying like the more you do something or get involved in that, the more it happens.
What the hell was that?
Like I thought it was gonna burp.
Oh, okay.
Like in BuzzFeed Unsolved, it's like Ryan always goes in and more things happen to him. Shane, he's like, "Oh, ghost, go," and nothing ever happens.
Yeah.
So it's just like, okay. But then what Joe Rogan was saying with the Sam and Colby podcast, he was like, but there's so many people and so many accounts where you're just like, okay, what's happening? But yeah, that Haunted show or the I think it was the Unsolved Mysteries with like the alien abduction.
Yeah.
And
those
how
are good.
like
those are very
the
good.
different people were like saying the same thing and you could just tell in their faces and you're like, all right.
Yeah, like when
what
multiple
the
people add up and see and say the same thing. That's pretty astounding.
And like ghost sightings or something like this is who's to say they weren't with the pyramids, like going that far back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, there's been so many accounts of them throughout, the ages, and then, I feel like that, that could coincide with like why, the theories of different types of afterlives, came about and the way they view them in different religions and stuff like that.
True. Yeah. And like some people feel like you vibrate. So what I was gonna say is different frequencies and energies and shit like that. So he's a cell phone. You gotta answer him. All right, you just died. Now vibrate. You're gonna be like, welcome to hell. You vibrate. So you showed me a lot of stuff, and you also showed me Ghostmane, which you could say is kind of hard.
Yeah, he's fucking creepy.
If you don't know Ghostmane, man, he showed me him. I was hooked.
Yeah. Basically, anything that's gonna stir like something that you've never thought of before is great. I don't know. It's just always.
Oh
intriguing.
yeah, it's always intriguing where you're like, man, this is terrible, but I want to watch more.
Remember?
There's nothing better than
Did I ever
that.
show you those? I forget what they're called. There was like the two. It was the girl and the guy, and they were performing at Ultra Music Festival. One of them's named Ninja, and the other one is named. It's like an old man looking thing.
Old man.
Like a not an old man looking thing. My bad, but like a old. Like he looks older. He looks like he's like 50 or something.
No, I don't know this old man. What are you talking about?
Shit, I gotta look him up now.
Damn, you gotta look him up. Ghostmane's awesome. So that's like Ghostmane, BuzzFeed Unsolved.
She talks with like a
Doctor-
high pitched voice. Oh, Die Antwoord.
Diana Ross's Antoine. Antoine?
You don't remember this?
No.
Did I ever show you this?
Ghostmane's girlfriend, Poppy? They don't date anymore. That's so creepy. No, you've never shown me this. Were we drunk?
Babies on fire. Babies on fire. I don't know.
I don't know.
But
What about them?
I'll have to show you them. They're very weird.
You might have. It's ringing a bell.
But like I can't stop watching them sometimes. Like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Like it's just like such a shock factor. Like
Mm.
that's what it is. The shock factor. Vibrating.
Vibrating, shocking. Yeah, the shock factor. I mean, you want to talk about shock factor? Men,
Just
lamb,
in general.
men in general. You
And
guys
lambs.
shock me. Men and lambs.
You sheep.
Whoa!
You manly sheep.
This is his humor.
Jeez
You
Louise.
got him. Lamb is a shock factor. Men is a shock factor.
Indeed. it
These
is.
are movies.
Yes, indeed. They are movies. They are very shocking. They do some weird stuff. I
Yep.
suggest you watch them.
So what are we up to? So right now, obviously, we're doing this podcast. We're probably gonna come back and just do. We're both reading a book. Reading.
Oh.
He's 17 chapters in. I ain't in any chapters.
The Troop.
The Troop. But
It's pretty
yes.
good. Pretty good so far. I'm on. It goes by
Don't say a goddamn thing that I don't know.
like scenes or like act or something.
Seen it.
Like all of a sudden in the middle of the chapter it just goes because I have it on what is it Audible. And like it was just like scene 2 or something after 17 chapters.
Like act. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know what they called it. Whatever. Part 2.
He don't remember anything.
It's probably something simple like part 2. I can't remember anything. I've
Come
been working
on,
all day.
man.
I've been inside.
So do you believe in ghosts? That means yes in Casper
Honduran.
language. This hat is killing me. Sorry, folks.
He's so funny.
Honduran?
No, you said the hat's killing you.
Yeah,
So I said he's so funny.
I am. All right, do you believe in him or not?
I certainly
I do declare.
certainly believe there's something out there. I don't know what's out there, but it's something. I've been on plenty of ghost tours where I've seen some strange things and seen some strange things. Did I already just say that? Soar and seen?
Soar like a bird.
Soar. Yeah, check yourself out. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a pot. Yeah, road me. I don't know. Like, I can't like definitively say that I do.
You gotta move. What's happening?
You gotta move over. What is this?
We need
for
a bigger
anyway?
desk.
We do. We'll get a bigger desk for the next one. I can't definitively say that. I can't even say the word that I do believe in them, but like I was saying, there's some things where I'm like, well, what the hell is that?
Yeah, I'm also like, I definitely think there's something out there, but I'm also the first one to be like, all right, how could that have possibly happened in our plane of existence or whatever you want to call it? Like,
Because you have to go into it Well, like, I think the best way to approach it is to be like, you start off being a skeptic. You can't just be like, that's true.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like,
Because then you'd be like, well, this guy's an idiot. This girl.
like whenever if anything ever creepy has ever happened to me, I will always be like, okay, how could that have happened? Did was it just on the ledge and it just finally tipped over? Because in my old house, I used to live near train tracks, so the train would vibrate the whole house.
Yep.
And so, like, that's just a small example. So I would think of things like that. And then the last possible answer is ghost. It's not my first assumption.
Right.
Although my brain does go, wow, that was creepy.
Right.
And I'm a little freaked out.
Yeah.
But, like, my first answer is not, okay, that was a ghost. We go to everything before that comes. And I feel like that's the first thing you got to do. Because otherwise you'll go into things with a bias. If you're even looking for ghosts, if you're like hunting or whatever,
and you'll go crazy. Well, there's also like I was in my basement and it was like some noises and I'm like, okay, I just turned the heat on, so that's the heat going. And my house from the 1940s, there's wind. Yeah, I mean, but then like there's the theory that like the universe is screwing with you. So if you see a book on a shelf move, it scares you. But then if you're still investigating it, it might fly off the shelf, which is like I don't know what theory that is. You have to look more into that, but yeah, you got to be a skeptic at first. But then it's like, okay, why are ghosts so? If they are real, like why are they so like timid? Like I think Elon Musk said on Joe Rogan's podcast about aliens. He's like, why don't they just be like, hello, we're here? Like he's like, I haven't seen like clear evidence or something like that. Like ghosts, it's like if you see them at the corner of their eye, they're like run away, and it's like if they're like why don't they? It's weird. Like
well, supposedly, two things I can answer those is when it comes to aliens is they're so far advanced from us that they even know that if they show up, it might be too much for our existence to handle, and they might just be watching us from afar.
Well, that's nice of them.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
Those are some polite aliens. And then when it comes to ghosts, some of them need energy in order to like harness like their full like power. So they might not be like timid per se, but I've heard that like whenever they move something, like that takes a lot of energy from them because ghosts are energy. Because when we die, energy doesn't die. And where does the energy go? So that's where that's where we think the ghosts are. There are leftover energy.
And
now some ghosts have more energy than others because maybe they've gone through traumatic experiences. They died traumatically. So that energy is stored in the dead body and then it's vibrating so much.
Yeah,
that some of them are able to do more things than others. And so if you're just calling out and it's like a little kid who died, who's confused how he died, let's just say. Like his energy is going to be kind of low because he's like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I don't know how I died. Why am I here? Why am I in this other plane of existence? Whereas if this other person got stabbed to death and they're looking for their killer, they had all this energy stored up, and then they're able to move shit and try to communicate. That's why I've heard, and frankly, it makes sense. Is it all true? I don't know. We'll never know.
Well, that's a good answer.
Or hopefully, maybe we'll know one day.
Yeah.
But that's why, like, if you get an EMF detector and a ghost thing, a ghostly thing happens, something unexplained, the electromagnetic fields will spike because there's energy being transferred from something else.
Move that phone. Could you imagine?
I would.
Woo!
The guy who used to work here claims that he thinks this place is haunted, so you never know. It's like, and you know what's funny is that there always are some weird sounds whenever I'm here by myself.
Yeah,
like little.
Like hello. And a
hello. What is that? Oh, that's Family Guy, the guy from Star Trek.
Hello.
Oh,
the Asian guy.
Yeah. Hello.
Crap. What's his name?
Crap.
Asian dude. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Some with a T. Teriyaki.
Terrell Owens.
Some with a T.
I'm getting fucking tired, boy. What else? Yeah. That's it. And anything that has to do with horror. To an extent.
Yeah. All right, yeah. So I mean, Ghost is, yeah. I mean, we'll probably. I would see every episode we probably incorporate that theory into it.
Ghosts, goblins. Maybe we'll even touch on you know, things that are mysterious as just like aliens and
well,
abominable snowmen. Who knows? We'll
yeah,
see.
like Bigfoot or something like that. But what you said, like what we were talking about before, it just made me think of like when you were saying like or just the fact that it's like we go into it as skeptics and it's like, all right, so like what is this? Like, and there's a lot like technology, you could definitely like change a lot of the things. Remember that video where the guy, like the security guy, goes into that room? It's like 2:37 or something like that. That might be from The Shining. Yeah, it's like, oh
Yeah.
my, like I get chills thinking about it. It's just like you hear screaming.
Yeah, there was like
and the furniture's everywhere.
And they called cops too, and the cops did the same thing. I'm pretty sure cops also came.
Probably.
I know what you're talking about, but it's like a security camera.
We could maybe throw
and you
the
hear
video.
Screams and...
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's just like the guy's like, you can hear him like talking to the other people. He's like, was that light always on in that room?
In the red room?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I just like actually looked onto it. It was scary. But when the guy goes in, he's like, yeah, nobody's in here. He's here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit. And you're just like, what
That's
is
so
that?
strange.
Because he goes in and there's no one there and you hear screams.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's just like things like that where it's like you can go in as a skeptic, but it's like you explain it. And if you're like I can't, and you're like, well,
and I'm pretty sure they said like there was a crazy murder maybe possibly
probably
in that room, and then that goes with the theory that I just said that like there was such a traumatic experience there that in that particular room there's so much energy that even they can scream at that point because it's like there's so much pent up energy,
Well, in the Conjuring house that like Sam and Colby go into in that video, it's like there was like the King Philip War, so there's like soldiers there, and then it's like there's a little child there, so it's like a bunch of just like ghosts on different levels.
Yeah.
And it's just like, get me out of here. I don't know. So we'll probably be talking about ghosts and ghouls and
yeah, like you said,
anything
mysterious,
Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Sure.
I know a lot about that too.
Oh hey,
dude, all these things, bro. I used to take out the books in 5th grade.
Yeah, he was born for it.
But yeah, we'll be perhaps maybe going on an adventure one day.
Never know.
Maybe reviewing some horror books here and there if we ever finish a book in our life. Sam has. I'm getting better.
So yeah, speaking of that, I physically read The Woman in Cabin 10. That was pretty good.
Is that a horror?
I wouldn't say it's horror, but it's like more so thriller. I listened to audiobook to the original Dracula. Ton of fun. This is Bram Stoker's Dracula. That was 97 or something like that. I'm pretty sure they got paid by the word, so it's really long. Definitely check that out. It's just like immediately you feel like it's a classic. At some points, I'm like, oh my god, like get on with it.
Back then?
I think so, yeah,
Really?
because I know Dostoevsky did for Crime and Punishment. Because there's so many words, and you're just like, why did you write so many? It's like you got paid by the word. That makes sense. I would just be like, the really pretty girl was inside the really big.
That's literally what I wrote for my Italian SAT in high school because I was like pretty bad at Italian, so I just kept going.
You added a bunch
My
of
name
verbs.
is this. Mi piace pallacanestro, which is basketball. Perché pallacanestro is fun. Mi piace, which means I like. And I just literally every other sentence. Mi piace, mi piace. I like.
God.
Non mi piace. That's funny.
But yeah, Dracula was great. It's written in different like journal entries. I'll definitely reference it. But yeah, this is where we are in our lives. I mean, I've made big strides of horror. He's been since he was a baby.
I've been there, right out the womb.
Ain't his first rodeo. Right out the womb, he was like, "Boo!" and they were like, "Whoa, I'm scared."
I was born in Honduras.
Yeah,
just to let you know. And I think maybe I came out of La Lorena.
Who that?
She's like this ghost.
Is that her cousin? La Llorona. La Llorona. Is
my
the same.
Sharona.
My vibrator.
La Lorena. She's like a ghost.
La Llorona.
She's like a ghost in.
God, that scared me.
I guess
she's like it's Spanish, right?
Yeah, she's a ghost maybe in Central America or South America or both, and maybe she steals children. But I think maybe she gave birth to me.
Birth.
I was adopted, so who knows?
Yeah.
Because I like scary shit right out the
He
womb.
might eat me right now.
I might right after this. Cameras off.
Dracula was good. Yeah, that's where we're at. But I think our main thing is we'll probably be reviewing movies because we'll watch a movie and for maybe like 10 or 20 minutes we'll just talk about like, well, maybe this happened or maybe this. I remember when Bailey and I, our other friend, saw The Lighthouse. We saw The Lighthouse. That was the guy who made The Witch. Oh,
Steven Glansberg.
yes. I can't think of his name and it's pissing me off. I'm on the spot, but the same guy who made The Witch made that. And he that was good. And me and Bailey went to Great South Bay Brewery, had a couple beers for like 3 hours, and we were just hashing out theories. While everybody else was at the club, we were hashing out horror theories. That's how much we love it.
Were we at the club?
You weren't there.
Yeah,
You might have been at the club.
I might have at the club.
Yeah, me and Bailey were watching The Lighthouse, and then I showed it to you, which is rare.
You showed it to me.
I think we watched it together.
That's cool.
Maybe not.
In
I don't know.
Newport?
No.
Because
Because I think it came out after we. I don't know. Maybe or we definitely watched it together.
And then I think we might have watched it together. I don't know.
Yeah. He usually shows me the stuff, but hey,
That one I never got to. I don't know why. I just never got to it. And then,
What do you mean got to it? Oh, it took you a while. Yeah. That one's bizarre. But yeah, so we'll be reviewing horror movies, and like Brendan said, anything horror related, and maybe an adventure. I don't know.
maybe some news. Maybe some news. What's coming up in the future with technology and discovering new things, new different things, ghost shit,
Oh yeah, maybe like
scientific things with ghosts and stuff.
yeah, or like what ghost hunters are using nowadays because they're more advanced.
They got ghost tracking apps right now. You know, maybe they work. You gotta pay 99 cents for you to talk to the ghost, though, so I don't believe it.
Each ghost?
Each
These ghosts are making
you
money.
pay 99
All right,
cents.
Fred's $1.50.
Some of the ghosts
La
using
Llorona's $10,000.
Some of the ghosts using OnlyFans. Some of them are, using the ghost app.
OnlyFans for ghosts. That's an idea right there. All right, guys. So stay tuned for the next episode of What Are You Scared of Something? All right.
Peace.
Stay tuned.